This scene here between Princess Dot and Flick is a scene that really sort of sets up the bond between these two characters, and this is probably one of the strongest bonds in the movie. And we wanted to really kind of establish how she can really relate to him, and they both, people don't believe in them for one reason or another, and we wanted Flick to sort of give her, make her start believing in herself and give her sort of support. And as we started writing this and developing this sequence, it started sounding, overly sincere and kind of icky.
Yeah, this is one of those sequences where we were kind of writing it while we were boarding it, and I remember I think it was Jason Katz was pitching it to you, and he called me over to look at it, and you guys had pretty much what was here, and you said, "What do you think?" And I said, I think I'm going to throw up because it was so blatantly sincere. There was nothing to.
Right.
I don't know. There was nothing that was us.
Right.
know?
And so in typical Pixar fashion, we kind of took a look at it, and we rewrote the scene and to make it a lot more insincere in places, to where as soon as you started getting nice and sweet, you try to poke a hole in it and poke fun at it. And so we always say we get sincerity through insincerity.
Right, which
and
is
we're very
rock.
proud of this scene. That's why, but it's a rock. And another gang member was this character we like to call Thumper.
I always got such a great kick out of the fact that we stole the name Thumper from another Disney movie, but it's the antithesis.
Right. Now, as the camera pans up from the umbrella/circus tent, look at the vehicle over next to this trailer. What is that? That's the Pizza Planet delivery truck from Toy Story. We always figured this is where the guy lived.
So that's me saying, "No, Harry, don't look at the light"?
And that's me saying, "I can't help it, it looks so beautiful." Probably my favorite gag in the movie.
I think it's everybody's favorite gag.
Yeah.
And brilliantly performed.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
There was one female ant that constantly was, her animation was getting cut.
Oh,
and
that's
we always
right.
felt sorry for her. She was, for some reason, this particular female ant, the animation...
Holly was the...
Yeah, I think it was Holly. And it just, poor Holly, you got to cut her. She just looks pretty terrible in this scene, too. This sequence that we call Building the Bird is sort of montage of the colony working together with Flick's idea to build the big scarecrow. How long was it originally?
Our very first pass at cutting the story reel of this sequence was about 17 minutes long.
And riveting, wasn't it?
But you know what the problem was?
Alive.
The reason it was so long, it goes back to our whole issue of how many characters we have in this movie. We were using this montage, in addition to Building the Bird, we were using it as the way to kind of take us through a lot of the story arcs of all the different circus bugs. And it was when we kind of pared back on all that and got it back to being about Flick that we were able to get this whole sequence kind of under control.
The relationship of Flick and Ada, at this point in time, was we always had this idea to kind of show the kind of high point of their affection towards each other, is getting them together and accidentally getting their antennas tangled. And we thought that's such a kind of a classic insecty kind of thing to do.
Well, it's the ant equivalent of two kids with braces making
Right.
up,
Exactly.
Yeah, getting stuck.
I mean, I think that's really what it kind of taps into.
Yeah.
But what's great about it from a story standpoint is setting it up, and it's so clear that they actually, they kind of like each other. And then within a few seconds, the entire bottom drops out for Flick, of this relationship, but also his relationship with the whole colony.
It's good. I mean, he's really at his highest point right here.
Yeah.
And then we pull the carpet out from under him.
It's such great animation.
Yeah,
This was
that was
actually-
really a difficult shot to animate.
Exactly. This is very difficult to keep those antennas together.
Oh
believe
yeah,
or
make
not.
it look natural.
Way too long to explain. Would take a whole nother.
But also, this is Julia did such a great job in that.
Oh,
in
little subtle
Flick.
thing right there. To look down at Tuck and Roll on the left.
Their antennas
When they
form
cross,
a-
they cross it. They cross and they form a little heart.
they form a little heart. Isn't
That's
that
for
cute?
you geeks out there.
Yeah. Now, these millipedes his team of millipedes there, a couple of millipedes that are pulling his cookie boxes, were probably some of the most difficult characters in the entire film.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, that's why they're not in the movie very much.
Notice how we cut away often.
They were so challenging to animate. Oh no, the last leaf has just fallen.
Subtle.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Grasshoppers are
That means
coming.
the grasshoppers.
We had a lot
love
of
this-
we had a
love
lot
this
of fun with
squadron.
this, yeah. And then Dot finally flies.
Dot finally flies. Yay, Dot!
You go get him, girl.
Go, girl. One of our favorite lines? Yes, our children say that too.
Yes.
We apologize right now.
I'm sure all the parents are mad at us, but our kids say it too now.
You know, the tree is about 1/10 the size that it feels like here. They fly back and forth through this tree about 40 times. it seems
Exactly.
like.
That's the same way when you do in chases in
Right.
cars.
You know, nobody. Well, now you know.
And so, you know, in having this moment where Flick finally gets appreciated by the colony, you know, and it starts slowly with one person clapping and builds, you know, it just always kind of made me choke up a little bit, you know, and
Yeah, I
seeing
get chills sometimes
his
when I watch
react that way.
Yeah.
And it's great. And to have audiences in theaters kind of clap along with them.
Some of it
great.
was cathartic because we would be like, "It's over.
Yeah.
We made it. We're still alive."
We're still walking. Well, some of us are at least.
I think some of us were crying just because of that.
Yeah.
Really was perfect. Yeah, it was just one of the last things we animated.
And we go on to another gigantic shot in the movie, which is the last shot in
Oh,
the
yeah.
film.
And this playing off the fireworks, all the big epics end with fireworks. So we said, well, we can't. Let's sort of
Yeah.
do our insect
Let me
version.
think. What else can we put in the ending? Fireworks. That's what we could do.
Juggling spinning plates.
Yes. Now, the idea of the end credits for A Bug's Life actually came towards the end of Toy Story. We were looking at Toy Story and realizing, you know, this is unlike anything anybody had ever seen. Three-dimensional cartoons. It looks so real. And we started joking around saying, you know what we should do is maybe do like outtakes. Because it was, you know, you've seen it in a number of different movies. And we thought, wouldn't that
live
be
action,
funny?
yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny to have actual outtakes in the end credits and make it? And so, you know,
'Cause we
because
figured-
no one knows how we make these
Exactly.
So
movies.
just let's just really mess around
let's
with people's
just-
minds.
Let's just kind of
Exactly.
like really mess up people's minds so they really won't know. They'll think it's really filmed.
Right.
And so we didn't have time on Toy Story. So we saved the idea for A Bug's Life. And we very quietly developed a bunch of ideas, worked with each of the actors on their last recording sessions, and they each one just loved the idea and did a lot of ad-libs. And so we based it all on existing shots that you remember from the film. And we went and cut it together and had it ready for each of the animators when they got done with their last production shot. So it's like a little treat, a little dessert, you know, they could animate this outtake. And we had so much fun with this.
We actually came up with like 30, and so when we did the second set, it wasn't so much off of this success from the first that we suddenly got we thought, oh, let's take advantage of it. We actually had that many, and we just couldn't fit them all in, and so it was
Yeah.
a really great that people liked them so much because we got to show more of them.
The end credits were structured with the song by Randy Newman. We had this little instrumental section in the middle as where we placed the
It was
outtakes.
designed so we could slip these right in.
And it was really funny watching it with the first audience. I saw it with the end credits. Everybody sort of immediately gets up and start walking. They start walking out of the theater, and then all of a sudden these things start, and they stop in the middle of the aisle and just start howling. And we had so much fun doing these
They're like,
things.
wait, no.
This
Oh,
can't
they
be.
can't believe it.
You know, and of course we have to put references to Toy Story in here.
We've got this one, and we put one in the second set of outtakes.
Right.
If Woody show up. They're all our production babies.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a tradition we have in our end credits to give a credit to each baby born during the production. With a 4-year production schedule, you can see that the list gets kind of long. And of course, it's filmed entirely on location. Even in the end credits, do we have fun?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us with this deluxe edition of
Super genius.
Super Genius
Genius.
edition of A Bug's Life. And I'm John Lasseter, director of A Bug's Life.
I'm Andrew Stanton, the co-director, co-writer.
I'm Lee Unkrich, the film editor.
And this is about where we say something really witty and really funny, but it's 1 in the morning.
Yes, that's right. It's 1 in the morning, and we got to be back here.
at 8.
We're making Toy Story 2. So
we're going to bed.
We're going to bed.
Good night.
Good night, folks. You should go to bed too.